the important thing now, and I think everybody understands that, is to have not to have a situation, actually, where we would see, you know, some accidental crashes of planes, you know, I don't know, an American bomber smashing into a Russian one or vice versa. And this is something that they really need to work out. I think the most key element now is for the Russian and Americans to work out a system, a control center or whatever, to avoid any accidents like that.
Are we seeing an acceleration of things, though, on the ground there, as well as in the air? Well, obviously, we know the Russians are involved in a bombing campaign now, but there's reports that hundreds of Iranian troops have now gone into Syria. They're going to team up with Assad's forces and members of the Hezbollah, and they're hoping for air cover from Russia and a big campaign. What do you make of that?
Well, to be honest, the Iranian forces, the Revolutionary Guard, were involved in Iraq already. And, you know, it wasn't really covered much in the media, but they were there already fighting with IS. So I don't have any facts, any proof that they moved into Syria. But what I do know is that the Russian government and the Russian military are stating very categorically that there will be no involvement of Russian troops on the ground, ever, in Syria. They are saying that they do not see this happening at any moment under any conditions. This is very important because, you know, there has been a lot of media attention to those troops that have descended in Syria, but they were turned out, they were advisors and instructors, Russian troops, I mean. So this is very important to understand. What is happening on the ground with the Syrian army and with the Hezbollah and the Iranian troops, now that remains to be seen. I think the Syrian army is now regrouping, which is obvious because the Russian aviation, the Russian Air Force, is conducting these operations in cooperation with the Syrian army. That's a big difference with the American-led coalition, which didn't inform the Syrian government, which didn't really tell them, you know, in detail what they're going to do, what they're going to bomb. They did say, they did clarify where, you know, the areas so that there would be no accidents, but nothing was really done in cooperation. Now that, I think, this new development that the Russian Air Force will cooperate closely with the Syrian troops on the ground, that's a big difference in this whole operation. I think that this marks basically the beginning of a new campaign, completely different from the previous one. And I suspect it will be more effective than the one led by the US-led coalition.
Alexander, it's been said for a long time that this is basically a proxy war. There's a lot of people involved in this effort. And now you have even more countries, it seems, at play, all with conflicting agendas. Does this make the situation that much worse? I mean, where do you see the outcome in all of this, and how does this impact the migrant crisis that we're seeing in Europe? And how does it prevent a political solution? Does it delay it? What do you see as the outcome of all of this?
Well, first of all, I think that a political solution at the moment is impossible. What sort of factions will be involved in this when you have a civil war of this ferocity and when you have so many conflicting agendas? It's impossible. For the moment, the Russian position is simple. We have to fight IS as the main enemy. Assad and the future of his government is not relevant at the moment. It's quite obvious that any political solution will only be possible after some sort of military victory over IS and some other terrorist groups is achieved on the ground. And that will take time. So I don't think we will see any political dialogue, any diplomatic efforts for quite a while.